Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to cover all the care requirements for Philodendron Pink Princess, a plant that seems to split the community. Some people absolutely adore it, while others just don't see the appeal. Honestly, I wasn't initially drawn to this plant either, and it wasn't part of my collection. Then in April, when I was at one of my favorite nurseries, I spotted this beauty sitting on a dark shelf, neglected and without any support, just hanging down. She looked like she was barely surviving. Her leaves were dark with only a hint of variegation, and the stem was curling under its own weight because she didn't have a stake for support. I knew no one would buy her in that condition, so I decided to rescue her. At that moment I realized why some people might not like this plant. Without proper care, she can look quite sad and even a bit unattractive. She was originally in Lika, so I allowed her to acclimate to her new environment for about 2 weeks before transferring into a soil mix. I'll go over the details of the soil mix later in this video. As you can see, 6 months later, the transformation is incredible. Her leaves are larger with more variegation. Her stem is growing upright thanks to the support pole, and she is constantly producing new leaves. About 2 months after moving her to soil, she even grew a small baby plant on the side, which I propagated separately. I'll repot and stake this little plant later in the video to show you exactly how to do it. Now I have 2 beautiful plants and absolutely love them both. When it comes to light, the Philodendron Pink Princess thrives with plenty of bright, indirect sunlight. I keep both of mine near a northeast-facing window, where they receive natural light throughout the day and a gentle dose of morning sun, which isn't too intense. While testing her light needs, I placed her near a west-facing window for about 2 months. She received some afternoon sun there, but it was filtered because she was about 1.5 feet away from the window, with other plants in front of her to help diffuse the light. Ideally, you will want to place her in a spot with lots of bright light, while avoiding direct sunlight, which can be too harsh and may cause leaf burn. If your home doesn't have enough natural light, you can also use artificial grow lights to meet her needs. Consistent bright light will encourage more variegated leaves and keep her looking vibrant. One of the most appealing features of the Philodendron Pink Princess is its beautiful variegation with unique pink and green patterns on each leaf. This variegation comes from a natural mutation where sections of the leaves lack chlorophyll, creating those pink areas. To maintain this variegation, bright indirect sunlight is essential. Without enough light, the plant may produce more green leaves to increase its energy production, while too much direct sunlight can burn the pink areas. Each new leaf may have a different balance of pink and green, which is part of the plant's charm. If you notice too many green leaves, you can trim the stem to encourage new growth with improved variegation. When it comes to watering, this plant isn't very demanding. I usually water mine once a week, but keep in mind that different types of soil may need different watering routines. I suggest checking the soil first. If the top 2 inches feel dry to the touch, it's time to water. When you water, do so thoroughly, allowing excess water to drain out completely to prevent root rot. Consistency is key, so avoid letting the soil dry out completely, but also be cautious not to overwater. With the right balance, your plant will stay happy and healthy. When it comes to temperature and humidity, the Pink Princess thrives in warm, humid conditions, reflecting its tropical origins. Ideally, keep the temperature between 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit and avoid exposing the plant to anything below 55, as this can slow down growth and cause stress. This plant also loves humidity, so aim for at least 50% or higher. If your home tends to be dry, consider using a humidifier or placing a tray with pebbles and water nearby to increase humidity. A stable, warm environment with moderate to high humidity will help your plant thrive. Next, let's talk about repotting and soil mix. I'll be repotting this small plant into a slightly bigger pot and adding support to help her continue growing upright. The Pink Princess doesn't need a large pot. In fact, she thrives when slightly root-bound. I recommend repotting her every 2 years or whenever you notice roots starting to emerge and she has outgrown her current pot. When repotting, choose a pot that's 1 to 2 inches larger than the current one and make sure it has drainage holes to prevent water from sitting at the bottom. The potting mix is crucial for all philodendrons, which is why I use my own blend for all aroids. My mix is chunky, allowing for good drainage while still retaining moisture. Alternatively, you can use a pre-made mix specifically for aroids. If you would like to see how I prepare my mix, I'll leave a link in the description below. Adding support is also very important. Providing stability helps the plant grow stronger and larger. In nature, these plants naturally climb up trees or other plants, so it's essential to give similar support as a houseplant. You can use a moss pole, a wooden stick or any other support that the plant can attach to. When supported, the Pink Princess tends to grow faster, produce new leaves more frequently and develop larger leaves. This part shows my plant before adding support, and this is the part that shows her after staking. Moss poles are an excellent option, but do require more upkeep, so I use artificial poles instead. I recommend staking your plant at early stage to prevent the stem from curling and give it the strength to grow bigger and upright. When it comes to fertilization, the Pink Princess isn't very demanding, but does benefit from regular feeding, especially during the growing season. I recommend using a balanced liquid fertilizer specifically formulated for aroids or houseplants, applied every 4 to 6 weeks during spring and summer. I feed mine once per month, diluting the fertilizer to half the strength to avoid over-fertilizing, as too much can damage the roots and burn the leaves. If you maintain a consistent temperature and light exposure, effectively simulating a year-round growing environment, you can continue fertilizing once per month. In fall and winter, if you let the plant experience cooler months, you can reduce feeding or stop altogether as growth naturally slows down. Always make sure the soil is moist before applying fertilizer, as this helps prevent root burn. The Philodendron Pink Princess is generally resilient but can still develop issues if not checked on a regular basis. Common pests to watch for include spider mites, aphids and mealybugs, which can damage the leaves and slow down growth. I recommend checking the leaves, especially the undersides, every couple of weeks, as pests tend to hide there. If you spot any pests, treat the plant with insecticidal soap or neem oil, applying it carefully to the affected areas. Be sure to isolate the plant from others until the issue is resolved to prevent pests from spreading. As for diseases, root rot is one of the most common problems, usually caused by overwatering or poor drainage. To avoid this, make sure the plant is in well-draining soil and that the excess water flows freely out of the pot. If you notice yellowing leaves or musty smell in the soil, check the roots and trim away any that are mushy or damaged. For the propagation process, I will be making another video to show different methods and techniques. I hope you found these tips helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to write them below. I would be happy to answer. If you also enjoy my content, please support the channel by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and happy growing!